If you're looking for good trout fishing spots in Missouri, I've got you covered. I'm going to talk about every single one the Show Me State has to offer. Missouri has approximately 60 trout fishing locations, but not all of them are created equal. There are several different types of trout fishing areas, and many of them have specific rules and regulations that I will cover so you're as informed as you possibly can be when you're deciding on where to fish. I'm going to separate this video into two sections: locations where you can catch trout all year long due to self-sustaining populations or periodic stocking, and locations where trout are stocked exclusively during the winter. Let's kick this off with Lake Taneycomo. It's a reservoir on the White River near Branson. The lake is annually stocked with 750,000 brown and rainbow trout, making it a world-class destination for anglers. For boundaries, there is a closed zone 760 feet below Table Rock Dam where fishing is not allowed, and when you're fishing between the closed zone and the US 65 bridge, you must have a trout permit regardless of your target species. From the closed zone to the mouth of Fall Creek, only flies and artificial lures are allowed. Soft plastics and natural and scented baits are prohibited even if you're not targeting trout. The slot length for rainbows is 12 to 20 inches, and anytime you're on the lake or its tributaries, the minimum brown trout length is 20 inches. The daily limit is 4 trout, but only one of those can be a brown. Now let's talk about Missouri trout parks. Missouri has 4 trout parks: Bennett Springs State Park, Merrimack Spring Park, Montauk State Park, and Roaring River State Park. When fishing at these locations, you must have an annual trout permit during catch and release season or a daily tag any other time of the year. Daily tags run $4 to $5 for adults depending on the park, and $3 for kiddos 15 years and younger. Catch and release season goes from November 10 through February 12, and during that time, only flies are authorized. When it is not catch and release season, the possession limit is 4 trout, and once you've caught your 4th, you've got to stop fishing. Next, I'm going to explain Missouri's 3 ribbon areas. All of Missouri's ribbon areas are rivers and creeks and are classified into 3 categories: red, white, and blue, because America, or Missouri, I don't really know, debate in the comments. Some of these streams have multiple areas on the same bodies of water like white and blue or red and blue, so I will address them separately as we go through each category. Our first category, red. Missouri has 3 red ribbon areas: the North Fork of the White River in Ozark County, which I will simply refer to as the North Fork. The second and third spots are Dry Fork Creek and the Merrimack River on the Crawford-Phelps County line. These 2 spots are actually right next door to Merrimack Spring Park. The length limit is 15 inches and the daily limit is 2 trout. For lures on the Merrimack River and Dry Fork Creek, only artificial lures and flies are authorized, which is not the case for the red section of the North Fork, where all lures are authorized. Now for white. White ribbon areas are cold water streams capable of sustaining populations year-round and receive periodic stockings of rainbows, and some receive browns. There are 9 white ribbon areas in the state: Hickory Creek and Capps Creek in Newton County, the Roaring River in Berry County, the Niagara River in Dallas County, Ribideau Creek and Stone Mill Spring in Pulaski County, Little Piney Creek in Phelps County, the Current River in Shannon County, and the 11 Point River in Oregon County. For most of these locations, browns have a 15-inch minimum length limit, no length limit for rainbows, and all lures are allowed all year long. The exceptions to these rules are Hickory Creek and Stone Mill Spring. Between November and February, these 2 locations are catch and release and artificial lures and flies only. Any other time of the year, standard white ribbon regulations apply. On to the blue. There are 9 blue ribbon areas in Missouri: Barren Fork Creek in Shannon County, Blue Springs Creek in Crawford County, Crane Creek and Stone and Lawrence counties, Current River in Dent County, 11 Point River in Oregon County, Little Piney Creek, Mill Creek, and Spring Creek in Phelps County, and the North Fork. The length limit in these areas is 18 inches and the possession limit is 1 trout. The reason for this is to promote stronger adult populations and giving anglers a better chances at landing trophy fish. Artificial lures and flies are the only things authorized to catch fish. Soft plastics and natural and scented baits are prohibited even if you're targeting other species. Now let's talk about the locations that exclusively receive winter stockings. There are 39 lakes and ponds across the state that receive rainbow trout from November through January. At many of these locations, the daily limit is 4 trout. All lures and baits are authorized. Only 1 pole may be used at a time, and chum is prohibited. Some locations, however, are catch and release and only allow artificials and flies while prohibiting soft plastics and natural and scented baits. After January 31, though, the catch and release rule and all lures and bait restrictions are lifted. Now I'm going to show you all the different stocking locations that Missouri has to offer. You'll notice there are a bunch of icons with different colors. Red represents catch and keep lakes, and the yellow represents the catch and release lakes. So we're going to start here in Kansas City on the south side of town. In Belton, you have Cleveland Lake, and then in Johnston Lake, you have Raymore. And in Reed Wildlife Area, there are 3 different ponds. You have Plover Lake, and then you have Coot Lake. Now, this honker pond that has a purple icon, that's kids only. Adults can't be fishing there. That is a kid-only pond. So guys like me cannot be fishing in that spot. So now we're going to move a little farther north. You have Chaumier Lake and Capitol Federal Sports Complex in Liberty. And then we move a little farther north along the interstate. You have Jesse James Park in Kearney. And then let's scroll out a little bit. We're going to scoot on up to St. Joe. There are a couple of ponds up here. You have Everyday Pond on the university campus, and then you have Krug Park in St. Joseph. So now we're going to move away from Kansas City. Now to central Missouri, we have several options to look at. So in Liberty Park in Sedalia has a catch and release pond. You have Lake Manassas in Marshall, Cosmo Bethel Lake in Columbia, McKay Park in Jeff City, Veterans Park in Fulton, and then in Mexico you have Kiwanis Lake. You also have Butte Park up in Moberly. Move a little farther north, you have Spur Pond in Kirksville, and then over to the east you have Huckleberry Park in Hannibal. Now we're going to skip St. Louis for now. We will come back to that, I promise. Down in the southeast, you have a few ponds. You have Sykeston Rec Sports Complex in Sykeston. In Cape Girardeau, you have Kappaha Park Lake, and then Rotary Lake in Jackson City Park, and Legion Lake #1 in Perry County. So now we'll move to St. Louis. And then out away from the city itself, you have Union City Park in Union that has a catch and release lake. We'll go directly into the city itself. So within city limits, you have 3 different lakes. You have O'Fallon Park Lake. You have a Forest Park, a Jefferson Lake over by the hospital. They have a catch and release lake over there. And then they have Carondelet Park that has a catch and keep lake. Out in the county, down in South County, you have Suisun Park, which I fished there quite a bit. You also have Walker Lake with a catch and release lake. You have Lassus Park over in Baldwin. Over in Brentwood, you have Tillis Park. And then Gendron Lake over in St. Anne, January Wabash Lake in Ferguson, and then Coneman Park in Jennings. Now let's scoot out west to St. Charles County and take a look at bush wildlife. This is my favorite trout fishing spot in the St. Louis area. We've got 5 different lakes to fish in. You have 3 catch and keep lakes and 2 catch and release lakes. You have Lake 3, 22, and 23 that are catch and keep, and then Lake 7 and 21 are catch and release. If you live in the St. Louis or Kansas City areas, here are a couple of hotlines you can call to find out when and where the most recent stockings occurred. And if you want more information about any of these locations, I'll put links down in the description that have a lot of useful information. If you want to see what it's like to fish for trout in Missouri, I have a whole playlist of me fishing at many of these locations. Click this thumbnail on the screen to check that out. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.